Mom has chimed in on the charitable donations. Don't criticize the charitable donations. They're not hurting anyone. I will read the text. Artist Journal, November 17th, 2022, in Berlin, Germany. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and we generated a lot of commentary yesterday, all of us, in our discussion that we all share here. Let me just bring up what Mom said here, because it was actually, on point, as Mom always is. I think you might have been a little too hard on the charitable donations. I asked her if I could mention this, by the way. I really don't think it assists an artist's career much to donate to charity, if at all. And the artist has donated his time and work, so my opinion is that we shouldn't question motives for charitable donations by artists. Just a thought. Yeah, agreed. So I kind of said my bit, and now we can just bury that in episode 92, where if anybody really wants to, dig deep on that, but we don't need to dig deep on that, do we? And just accept it, and it's good, and as Mom says, there's no need to discuss that at all. Let's see what Mom has to say about Killer Acid. This is a rare piece put out on Object from Killer Acid, a super rare artist. If we had more time, I would look at the super rare. I'm pretty sure he's on super rare. And I think he gets a lot of money for his work. Very nice work here. So Super Mario, Blotter Paper Mario. Let's check out what that is the title. It's me, LSD Ouija, Killer Acid, buy for 117. So mint price was 69. It looks like it flew off the shelves for editions of 69. So how much money is that? I don't know if it was like look at this. This is all 69. So that sounds like 4,900 Tezos, which is like $4,800 these days, US. So nice work, Killer Acid. And yeah, you can see the big version of that here. So continuing on, we can't spend too much time here. So I just thought I'd bring up his market though. Again, kind of screams Zap Comics as we were discussing Robert Crumb, and we'll see again here in a second. Rata weighed in, which was awesome. Killer Acid, so you see it's pretty expensive. So in a sense, this is like a pretty nice one here, and it's 130. So if you're a collector, and I mean, if you want to collect Killer Acid's work, it's never been cheaper than it is now. So FYI. So there are almost too many comments here. Shout out to Toby Egglesfield, talking about how thanks for the interesting opinions on AI and the gaming front. He's also interested. Thank you for the comments and great commentary. Thank you. And Jurassics is also a Stones fan over the Beatles. No doubt about it, in my opinion. This is interesting. I'm more of a fan of what the Beatles accomplished during their run than I am of their music. With that being said, I Want You, Eleanor Rigby, and Help are all really solid tracks. Also great vid. Thank you. Yeah, like my kind of real world test on, say, like the Beatles versus the Stones and who has stood the test of time is I can play the Rolling Stones if I'm hanging out with friends having a beer at someone's place. If I was to play the Beatles like Eleanor Rigby, I mean, maybe that's an extreme example. I mean, I think people would give me a double take as I would double take them, or they that play or Help. I think this person needs help. So anyways, I mean, again, some people, I'd say we're still in the minority here, but interesting to hear. And Rune Toon also weighed in on that and agreed. And shout out to Santa Pixel too, who was commenting on the Terrence McKenna episode and from 40, 30 episodes back, and also enjoying the intro, which is by Tradscape, by the way, as well as the outro. And Uxie also, as far as the AI concerned, check out all these comments on the YouTube. They're very interesting and thoughtful. Don't listen to the art cops when it comes to AI. And he was also surprised at the negativity that's out there. I'm kind of taken aback. It's like, but anyways, we kind of discussed that. So Runtune has some interesting comments here. Uxine and Runtune too. And also, there's a lot going on, and I have to run to get a haircut. So I'm a little behind the gun here, but bottom line, collectors need coin to keep collecting, and what better way than by putting their own NFTs through use of AI? So talking about the ease of use of AI here, and how anybody can do it, and also taking issue with the semantics of democratization, as we were mentioning yesterday. So I think it is a semantic issue. It's kind of like a distinction. We're splitting hairs, but it is important because, in a sense, democratization is a big word, philosophically speaking. So we should, so maybe it's not the right word. And actually, the writer of the thread weighed in here too. And so anyways, and GM to Rada, and who also left a very nice comment, very interesting monologue and accurate AF. I'm a big fan and highly influenced by Robert Crumb. You have a Gucci eye, sir, excited and marveled with the AI discussion. Well, this is thrilling from what I would consider to be like a star in the NFT scene, Rada, to be first tuning in and then enjoying it, as I wrote in my comment there. So shout out, Rada. And we heard from Strange Thing. A very gracious response, actually, as I was, as Mom was pointing out, me and my criticisms, me and my opinions. Strange Thing, thank you yet again for featuring me, fam. To note, I watch every episode religiously. You were the first ever to really publish me and talk about my work, so love to support and also find new artists via you, as I have picked up a few pieces of artists from watching. On the charity front, I do understand where you're coming from. This was going to be another, not for mint, but seeing as the message behind it was powerful, like what have we done, I felt these pieces could be sold for charity in the future to help raise more money than I have ever been able to contribute to charity in the past. And this is another thing. It's like, how much have you donated to charity, Adrian Pocobelli? Right? If so, message received on all that front, But so thankful for the global attention my work has received, which was totally unexpected. So if I can do the greatest things along the way to help others, it's a blessing to be in such a position. Amen. Strange Thing. Amen. So so we can put that discussion to bed, and let's all try and be more charitable, right? Follow the example of Charles AI and Strange Thing. So the person that wrote the big thread, Doc T from yesterday, what a pleasant surprise. Thank you very much for the critical appraisal of my thread and for sharing these thoughts. He was also replying to Runetune, who left, I think it was the same, very similar thoughts to what was in the YouTube comment there, who left a thread. So a lot of commentary generated yesterday. Shout out to Ile, who once again did the timestamps. This is the word I was looking for. So thanks for doing that. And hilarious, just go to 950 if you want the Terrence McKenna create your own roadshow quote. So all too hilarious here. Thank you, Ile. That means a lot. Zancan. So back to charity. Zancan is having environmental concerns at heart. You all know that. I'm happy to have brought generative artwork to this huge event on the theme, reconciling humanity with itself and with the living, that will take place at UNESCO in Paris on November 25th and 26th. So we have followed Zancan here and there along the course of our journey. So there you go. Really cool. I guess it's generative art, as the hashtag would suggest. Sometimes I'm not sure with Zancan. Just an update on this auction. So there's still 5 hours to go. It's at 200 XTZ or Tezos from Louis Osborne. So we saw this yesterday. I just thought we'd do an update. And also Daniel W. is selling a one of one, which is a rare occurrence, and that's going for 377 Tezos. So very cool. A sealed box, sounds like knocking coming from inside. So a very rare, kind of in the spirit of the weird and terrifying, right? A very rare one of one from Daniel W. there. So FYI. This is something, I have a new provocation for us, which I wasn't looking for, but something else to think about here. And it's this whole theme from your artist reporter here of the confluence, and it sounds crazy. So I'm just opening up the discussion of news and art. In a sense, we've already discussed this, but look at this. Elon Musk coverage of FTX meltdown is incomparably faster and better quality on Twitter than old school media. And then Min Liang Tan weighed in. I must say I agree with this. Also, I do think there's an opportunity for short-form, real-time journalism based on Twitter, but we'll need some way to help the new form press journos, for want of a better word, monetize. Elon Musk definitely. So interesting on that front. And then I'm just juxtaposing that with Unknown Collector So cool, 100 editions minted of Elon, what have you done? And we're kind of seeing like images we might see from the news, but with AI, and that looks like SBF there, and Elon making a mess with a lot of blood. Yeah, and there's Markey. It could have. So all to say, this very avant-garde thesis of news and art colliding. It looks like if it's going to collide anywhere, it's going to be on Twitter. And I'm just going to leave that there for right now. I'm sure this will come up again. Okay, but I'm just like my antennae that are at the furthest reach are starting to go, ooh, this news art thing continues to be an idea that provokes, and it just seems like there's something there. Increasingly. Subtle Grace, a work by Anna Hoy, who we've never looked at here, and I thought just an interesting artist here. I've never seen anything quite like this, kind of illustrative, some figures with tattoos, and the eyes. So just really interesting work from Anna Hoy, who I saw on Twitter, and there was a bid of 2, and so that was how much this went for, and that was just a week ago, November 9th. So this is some of Anna Hoy's work. So just, again, we're always trying to put new blood in here. And here's another artist that really turned my head. Really nice work. So congrats to her. Look at this. I found this I was looking at Robness V2's art collection, Paint Fashion Deluxe 1. I thought this was just a really, really cool work. Just a cool work. Editions of 13, it's by Blue Safari. And I believe I brought up Blue Safari's other work here. That's a bit of a standout though, hey? That can have its own wall, this piece here. And I think the fashion crowd would love that. And we know the fashion crowd, some of them are on Tezos, as we've seen in the past. So anyways, analog vibes from the global south. A term you hear more and more. A new work from Uxine, Refuse Reality, another poetic work from our guy who was just commenting there. Refuse Reality, buy for 17, edition of 10, and sold out right away for 12. That sold out in like 2 minutes. So Uxine continues to dazzle, and so very cool. A new work from Dan Control, regular here on the program. Motorola Dynatec 8000X, so one of those massive cellular phones from the 80s, it looks like, or early 90s. This could have almost went on the front of the program here. Piazza d'Italia, an ASCII work based on a Giorgio de Chirico. I snapped this up. It was only 1 Tezos as soon as it was released. We can all kind of recognize de Chirico, and again, I'm way too behind schedule to bring up de Chirico. We brought him up before, and we will bring him up again. Maybe we'll bring him up really quickly here. But look at this, really elegant solutions. This is actually maybe my favorite part here in the shadow, really mixing ASCII with de Chirico. Let's just bring up Giorgio de Chirico. Yeah, so we all know this artist here. They're very influential on the surrealists. Again, there's that story, I think I told it before, where Max Ernst really got his start and obsession in painting after seeing a de Chirico in a storefront window, I believe in Paris, And that's just like unlocked something in his head. That's a beautiful story. So there we go. Piazza d'Italia, ASCII, Giorgio de Chirico. Continuing on, and this is by mech.txt, of course, has a new work, Giants of the Past. So just another beautiful pixel work in mech.txt's inimitable style. He makes it look easy. And here's some other works. You know what I found striking about this? Again, another unminted work, as far as I understand. I love how he's combining this kind of classical stuff with the landscapes. It's a very interesting juxtaposition here as he studies the color, build, refine, and hone, but above all, adequate rest and sleep. Amen. It's a little bit why I'm behind here. I slept in a little bit today. So anyways, very cool. And here's one more. Make bigger canvas practices before the usual 9 to 5. Refining some new techniques. I'm trying to adopt it to be 100% mine. This is another huge issue. So if you actually start making pixel art, this is one of the first issues you're going to run into, which is scale. How big do you make your canvas? And it's going to be a way smaller canvas than you're used to. Now, I can show this in a future episode. Don't worry about that, because you can expand it in Photoshop effortlessly as long as you know how, to whatever size you want, because it can just go to the next edge, okay, in the transform tool if you set it up properly. So don't let the small size psych you out. So here he's practicing with bigger canvases, and it really impacts your pixel art. And here we go, and I thought I'd drop this comment by Ed Marola in. Something nice about pixel art and Midjourney is that the 4 images frame low-res version is already perfect size. We don't need fancy 4K images. 256 pixels is more than enough. So, if you want to make pixel artworks based on this, you just import it right into your program and start tracing and interpreting. So, interesting. Here's another pixel artwork by P1, the person who made that awesome single the other day. Cool Holiday is Liquor Loaded. And this is chill. And a cool little animation here. Remember this single from the other day? That was awesome. So not listed yet, just minted. Very cool pixel artist. And a new one by Bite by Bit, a new nebula. And this is the Owl Nebula. So continuing with the space theme. And this other theme, again, we don't have a ton of time here, but you see this other theme here, like just a really interesting artist. I've said it many times, even these landscapes here, like I almost was featuring them, but you can't show everything, but it's pretty interesting, the experimentation. I have a lot of respect for Bite by Bit. Side Hustle. Also another work using graphics too. So you see that lower pixel version, and you gotta love it when artists just really explore that one theme, like these kind of like interiors and cubes and architectural structures. Side Hustle, of course, has done a lot of work with LB. It's kind of in that spirit. So anyways, this was found by Chi, I think Moscow, one of the 2 guys that encouraged this program at the very start when it was audio. So shout out to Chi, who found this. Coda Nakazono, continuum number 10, just an interesting experimentation, as Chi pointed out on Twitter. This is from Sabato. This is on Solana. So you might remember Sabato's drawing exercises series. On Solana, he has a monochromatic version. And this is actually really cheap. As Tezos keeps dropping, as Solana keeps dropping. We're not alone on Tezos. Everybody's crypto is dropping. So this would have cost you like $60 a couple of weeks ago. Now it'll only cost you $28. Pretty cool work, actually. Soft serve. A new work by Acid Boy, edition of 25 for 5 Tezos. Problem Solver. Cool title. Cool work. And again, just really, you gotta love it when artists just pick that one theme and just go nuts with it, and just completely explore it. So shout out to Acid Boy, who's also on Super Rare, by the way. This was just a really interesting combination of mixed media. Happy Pusher, an old chair, rocks, and a bit of digital drawing artwork by Artsiom Pronin at auction for $1 or a Tezos. So I just kind of applaud the experimentation here. Again, as Artsiom travels through the mediums here, like this is some serious mixed media, isn't it? Continuing on, and this was also just kind of an interesting work. This is Generative Art by Adam Gen Art and Etched Clouds. So playing with like the etching process, which we can discuss in another episode, through generative art. And again, I just thought that was kind of interesting. A nice work by Treza Rodanks. Uncle Paul's stories went on forever. Luckily, he had all the time in the world. I quite like the composition here and the colors and everything. It just has a really nice feel to it. And I think this sold out actually right away. Buy for $7.99 now. And yeah, like look at how fast this This was gone within an hour and a half. Okay. It's funny. That one just kind of hit the right note, didn't it? Continuing on, now we've seen Moses Herzog before. Remember the guy that did this piece? Well, he's been releasing other pieces with this mask. And maybe someone out there knows the reference. I feel like it's almost like a Masters of the Universe type reference, but it doesn't look like a He-Man. Maybe it is a He-Man character. I don't know. Maybe it's just his own thing. And again, it looks like a Moses type figure, kind of baby in, an ancient trope. This isn't just Moses. This is in other traditions as well. So continuing to kind of mystify Moses Herzog. So just a kind of one to take note of there. This is found by Uda Museum on Instagram. I saw them post this. I thought this was really cool. Arta Deft, who I've never heard of before either. Just a pretty nice piece, isn't it? So hen on the cap. Interesting cap. I mean, the design decisions that are made in a lot of these artworks are quite inspiring, if you ask me. This is Pintura Collegium Digital. Not exactly sure what that is. Collage. So a bit of a collage work there. Interesting for R.I.P. Hen. Buy for a Tezos 79. Pick it up for a song. Richard Nadler, Fingers Crossed. I don't think we've looked at this one. It was recently posted. And so I thought we could show it just with our AI showcase. Just interesting stuff going on with the fingers here. Another kind of take on the AI distortions. Pretty wild stuff how the fingers show up above the eyes. And so nice work there. And I'm wondering, this is by 0009, who I believe is an AI artist. We've looked at 0009's work before, does all that blob work, remember? This was minted on Super Rare, and I think it might be using the new Midjourney V4, because it looks like a photo. But when you really look at it, it looks like AI. Even the background here. Like at first I thought, oh, is this guy going into photography? But so some pretty experimental, like you could see a lot of this AI work. You're gonna, and it's kind of back to this news art idea that I'm throwing out there again. Because once, they've already, what do they call it? Fake, not news fakes, but there's a word for it. Deep fakes, I think, where you could have like the president of the United States saying something completely different, but it's all made by AI. So again, news and art as, fusing. And this is also kind of another incremental step in my view of that happening. What is Iana? Burning City, this was only 2 Tezos, edition of 1. So I thought, I'll pick this up. So I did. A very nice work of a burning building, blue and orange complementary colors. Just a nice work to add to the AI art collection. So nice work there. And this is also by Kika Nikolela for 50 cents. Composition 1. Also an interesting AI composition. So the experimentation continues. Kind of reminds me, how I was saying I was at the Fondazione Prada? They had these, maybe I'll show that picture. They had this room of these huge Amanita muscaria mushrooms. That kind of reminds me of that. Shirley Preston had a funny work, kind of a concept piece. Trash Art, the movie. I asked my AI butler, Thomas, what trash art is. He gave me the plot to Trash Art, the movie, a parody of Shawshank Redemption starring John C. Reilly and directed by James Gunn, R.I.P. Hen. So you can read that here, but it's kind of hilarious. It's like a parody on Wikipedia here. Trash Art is a 2013 American independent comedy film by James Gunn. It's pretty, again, so ignore AI at your own peril. Like, we cannot bury our heads in the sand. This technology this year is officially persuasive. As such, we have to deal with it. Nisa is a great follow here. Look at this. This is just like some, physical work. Nice painting, hey, by Jeffrey Stein, American. So I wanted to point that out. Really nice physical work. And here's another one that Nisa pointed out, Daniel Ludwig. So a very nice follow here, Nisa, posting some pretty interesting contemporary art paintings. Very nice work. And look at this. I also saw this on Instagram, Sally Kinberg, a very nice piece. Unfortunately, Instagram keeps the images small. I'd love to make this nice and big, but pretty nice painting here. I assume, yeah, it's oil on canvas and it's called Spin. It looks like someone's helmet. That's kind of a mirror helmet. Super cool. And my friends, thank you for joining me on this whirlwind journey. And thank you for all the comments, which we may dig into and return to some of those tomorrow. Thank you for all the comments, and until next time, take care.